What if I told you there was a tea, this magic elixir that once you drink it, you could uncover secrets from your past, visions of your future, but you might have to go through your personal hell to discover it. Would you drink it? So the specialty that I want to tell you about today is ayahuasca. It is a very powerful form of plant medicine that's made from the ayahuasca vine and the chicharuna leaves. Shamans have been making this medicine for thousands of years to help with healing, to help with visions of the future, to help tap into higher consciousness and the guides and spirits that have helped them heal, help them to transform, help them to really connect with Mother Earth, with Gaia, for thousands of years. So in this video, I want to share the 6 different ayahuasca experiences that I've had and let you know how it has benefited my life, what I've learned from these experiences, and how I feel that ayahuasca can be of great value to someone who really wants to dig in deep and get to the root cause of what it is that may be causing some trauma in their life. Hope that you get some value from what I'm sharing and consider if maybe ayahuasca is something you're ready to try. Now, before I get into this, I must tell you that ayahuasca is gaining popularity these days. It is something that many people are searching for because they are looking for their own purpose. They're looking for direction, they're looking for guidance, and they're hoping that Mother Ayahuasca will give them that knowledge that they're looking for. And while it very well may do so, it's also important to know that you have to have your own spiritual practice in place before doing the medicine. You have to have some sort of practice, a mindfulness routine that will allow you to integrate the information and knowledge that you've got from the medicine into your life, because you may see something that you didn't know was there. You might see something from your past that will totally rock your world. And if you don't have a mindfulness practice, if you are not able to ground and really process what it is that you receive, you could be in a more traumatic place after ceremony than how you went in. So while ayahuasca can be very powerful and transformative, it is very important to have the support to be able to process what it is you may or may not see after ceremony. And I can't stress that enough. If you are thinking ayahuasca is going to give you all the answers and life is going to be better than ever afterwards, I want to warn you that that might not be the case. See, some people do ayahuasca having this expectation that they're going to do the medicine and they're going to have all the answers and they're going to be able to let go of whatever it is that's holding them back. And while that may happen for some, it may not happen for you. So I strongly urge you that if you are going to consider doing ayahuasca, have an intention for why you're doing the medicine, but don't be set on a specific outcome and have an expectation of how you want it to be. Because the truth is Mother Ayahuasca is going to show you whatever it is you need to see, and that might not be what you expect. And that could lead to disappointment if you have expectations and you're really attached to a certain outcome. So that being said, I want to share with you the different experiences that I've had with ayahuasca. So the first time I drank was with a shaman from Colombia named Taita. And this was in November 2017. Now, a good friend of mine who has been helping me along my spiritual path and my journey, Chris Hawk, who introduced me to the beauty of Costa Rica, he called me one day and he said, Taita from Colombia is coming to town and I think you're ready. I was like, okay, let's do this. So I flew down to Costa Rica to do ceremony with Taita, and the medicine from different tribes have different results or different outcomes. The medicine with Taita is really for cleaning, for detoxifying, and ultimately a lot of purging. This medicine goes through the system, finds the stored energy, the traumatic energy that needs to come out, the healing, the wounds, and it will circulate through your body. And when it's ready, it comes out. And when it comes out, it can come out. It can come out both ways. And if it comes out, you got to let it, because that purging is actually cleansing your system of that energy, of those traumatic experiences that need to come out. I thankfully, don't have any deep-rooted traumatic experiences, or at least none that I've discovered yet. So my ceremony was a little different than some people's, because I heard some people screaming in agony within a few minutes of taking the medicine. They were screaming, they were purging. That in itself was actually pretty traumatic, just listening to them. However, I just kept breathing, just kept meditating, kept in my zone. And at first I didn't think I was actually gonna feel it. It was kind of in and out. And then I started to have some visions, probably about 3 or 4 hours into it. And what I saw is not something that I would have expected myself to see. And this is an example of the medicine showing you what you need to see, even though you may not expect it. I saw my grandmother, who passed away a few years ago, sitting next to a man in a chair. They're both kind of sitting slightly facing each other, but they were in a room with just blinding white light. And I know that sounds pretty cliche, but that was it. Like, I could see them, but I couldn't see anything in front of them. And my grandmother was younger. She was a couple of years, I would say she was actually probably 10 to 15 years younger than I remember her last when I saw her before she passed away. And she looked vibrant, she looked happy, and she was holding hands with this man, or just kept kind of looking over at him. And that was my grandfather, who I've never met. And I could see the sides of their faces, and they were looking at each other, and I could see that they were so in love, and they were happy, and they were together. And I tried calling out her name a few times. However, she couldn't hear me. Every time I opened my mouth to call, just like no sound came out. It was just kind of like this, almost like white noise, but not white noise. And I would call out to her, and she wouldn't look around. And then I realized, okay, she can't hear me. And in that moment, I got to really acknowledge and honor my grandmother. To give a bit of context to this, I wasn't that close with my grandmother because I pushed her away for many years in my life because I was embarrassed of my culture and my heritage, because I grew up being called names and dealing with racism. And I projected that onto my grandmother and onto my father because they looked like people from Pakistan and India. You know, they spoke funny, they looked funny, you know, based on North American or Western standards. You know, my grandmother wore saris and she had the accent and didn't speak English very well. And I projected the racism that I felt onto them, and I pushed my grandmother away all of my life. And I remember when I saw my grandmother deceased in her bed at my father's house, I remember looking over top of her and just feeling this deep remorse. I remember feeling this guilt that I never even got to know you. I never allowed myself to love you. And closed that, packed that away, kept on with my life, and I realized I never allowed myself to really process that. In that ceremony, I got to acknowledge my grandmother, thank her for who she was for me, because without her, I wouldn't exist, and have closure on that, because I realized that I'd been holding on to that guilt and shame about my relationship with her for many, many years, and I got to release that. It was a very beautiful moment. It was amazing to have that peace and to have that moment with her. I don't know if she felt it or knows. I wish she would have turned around and maybe just gave me a little smile so I knew that she heard it or felt it, and it is what it is. I felt it, and I know that I got to release something in that moment, and that was very important for me. And you know, often in life, we have that guilt or that shame, that incident that happened, and we bury it so deep down inside that we just want to forget about it. So Mother Ayahuasca brought that up for me, and I'm really grateful for it. Now, the next night, there was another ceremony happening, and this was called the White Nights. Now, this one was very different. This one is 150 people, all wearing white in a circle, in a beautiful, beautiful shala. And this one had music and singing, and some people even get up and dance. And the medicine is much more gentle. So this ceremony had more of a celebration type element to it. And this ceremony for me was very different. I saw different dimensions. I saw different beings that looked like, best way to describe it is if like hieroglyphics, if like Egyptian drawings and those really like angular type animals came to life. That is what I saw in my ceremony. And they were coming and they were interacting with me, and there was like this thing that would come and like kind of poke me, and like it was almost like they were probing and inspecting me. And it was pretty fascinating that I felt the presence of these different beings. And I kind of went through 3 stages. One, I would see these different energetic beings, and then at other times, different people who were important to me in my life who had passed away popped up into my conscious. And I was able to go back to specific key moments and memories with those people, and it was so vivid. It was really like I got to revisit that experience with them and remember the influence and impact they had on my life. And that's something that I also realized, that there are memories that I hold on to with people who have passed away that I really bury away, and I almost don't allow myself to feel those feelings of sadness, of regret, and of just love, So that was really beautiful, that I was able to reconnect with some of those emotions from those friendships that I've had. And the other state I would say I was in is when I opened my eyes, I just saw beautiful vibrations. I saw sacred geometry. I saw light shining off of crystals in this incredible fragmented pattern. And I'm sure that's a similar vision that you can get during many psychedelic trips. However, this was, it was beautiful. It was really special. And of course, the music and the high vibration of everybody singing was really an incredible experience. So that was a white night ceremony. Definitely that one was a lot of fun, more colorful, more energetic. Third time I did the ayahuasca was again at a white night ceremony, except this time I actually slept through the majority of the ceremony. These ceremonies tend to happen around 8 or 9 at night and could go till 8 or 9 the next day. And for me, that one, I can't really even remember saying that I saw very much. I was just knocked out. And sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes you're not ready to receive whatever the medicine's going to show you, so you just sleep. And that experience might have been that way for me also because I had expectations from the first two experiences. I was really hoping to see something similar to what I did in the previous white nights. And as I said before, you just have to let go, surrender, and let the medicine show you whatever it's going to. And if all you do is sleep, well then maybe you just weren't ready to see whatever it was Mother Ayahuasca has for you. And maybe sleep is just what you needed in that moment, rest. My fourth ceremony was much smaller. It was part of a retreat. We were only 8 people. And this one was really powerful for me because in this ceremony, I got to see a few things. During the ceremony, I was able to release some shame and guilt that I have had, that I've been carrying with myself around not having some babies with my ex-girlfriends. And that's a nice way of saying that, we chose not to move forward with the pregnancy. And, it's even hard for me to say now. And it was something that I'd been carrying with myself, carrying within that guilt and shame. And I love children. I love babies. I want to be a father badly. And that choice and those memories, really have impacted me. And again, just bury and suppress it and just pretend like life's all good. And in that ceremony, I was able to say I'm sorry, ask for forgiveness, communicate and connect with those beautiful starseeds who have yet to come down to this planet yet, and just really release that and just say sorry. And that was powerful for me. Now, whether you believe, that you can or can't connect with, spirits and souls, that's really your choice. But I can say that I definitely felt a very powerful connection to the children that I did not choose to have. And I felt a lot lighter after that, I must say. Coincidentally, during that ceremony as well, I saw my nephew Zaire standing next to a baby in a bassinet. And I don't know why, because when I think back on that image, there was no indication that the baby was a girl. However, I just knew that it was a baby girl. And my nephew Zaire was young, definitely no older than 3 years old. And the baby was maybe a few months. And it was so vivid that the next morning, I texted my brother and I said to him, you're gonna have a baby girl and she's coming soon. And my brother texts back, LOL, what makes you think this? And I wrote back and said, well, I was deep in meditation last night and I saw Zaire next to a baby girl and she's coming soon because Zaire's quite young in this vision. And he laughed and he said, well, I hope your psychic abilities are right because we'd love nothing more than to have a girl. And I kid you not, might have been 3 or 4 hours later, I get a text from him and he's like, Amanda's pregnant. How the F did you know that? And I said, I can't say why I know. I just said that that's what I saw. And she's beautiful, and she's coming soon. And yeah, and you're gonna be a dad again. And he said, well, let's see. We'll wait a few months and find out whether or not your vision for the future is actually true. And sure enough, 3 months later, he sends me a photo of ultrasound, and baby Thea was on her way. And now, actually, I'm shooting this video the day after Thea's first birthday. So pretty incredible that, I was able to tap into that future of my baby niece being born and arriving before my brother and his wife were even aware. Why I saw it, I don't know. I'll just say that I was connected to Source, and that's what I saw. So in May of this year, I did 2 ceremonies back to back. And these were with some incredible shamans from France who are now living in Costa Rica. And given all that's happening in the world, with all the changes and all the fear and all the mixed vibrations happening right now on the planet, for me, my intention with this ceremony was really, I want to understand what is really going on the planet right now. Like beyond COVID and beyond the fear of the collective consciousness, that many people are feeling, what is really going on? I really wanted to see just like how intense is this going to be, and what is really going on? Who is really behind this? And I got to see exactly what I asked for. And I can tell you that, and now again, this is gonna sound really woo-woo, and whether you believe in it or not, I got to see this dark energy, this thing that almost looks like an octopus with many tentacles and a head that almost kind of looks like a bat wrapped around planet Earth. And it looked like it was just throbbing and sucking energy off the planet. And my feeling is that it was feeding off the fear, feeding off the sadness, the dark, heavy emotions that Earth is feeling. And it was so present for me that there is this dark energy on planet Earth right now. There are people who are consumed by these dark entities. And I really believe that there is a battle, there is a spiritual war happening on planet Earth right now, not just in the 3D, but also on a spiritual 5-dimensional level, that there is a battle between the dark and the light. And whether you choose to believe this or not, from what I saw, from what I felt and experienced, I know this to be true for me. And that's why, with a lot of what's happening right now, I really am quite sure that what we're seeing and what we're being told is not actually what is really going on. Now, you may or may not agree with me. However, I have my beliefs from what I saw in my ceremony. It definitely validated what I had already been thinking. Now, I also got to see the extent of how bad this can get. I saw, the death, the trauma, the destruction that, again, I don't want to sound negative, but that is coming. I got to see just how bad this is going to get, and just how much pain this dark energy is creating on our planet. And it was heavy. That night of ceremony was really, really heavy and intense. And I'm grateful I got to see it, because it validated what I had already believed, and it reminded me just how important it is to do this work right now, how important it is to share content right now, and to let people know that, yeah, dark times are ahead, and we can choose the light, and we could choose to do the work, and we can choose to support others who are lost in the darkness and be that light for them. And that is why it's crucial at this time to meditate, eat well, clean your body, clean your mind, read, educate yourself, support one another, stay in a high vibration. It is so important to not let yourself get caught up in the fear, not let the darkness take over. It is imperative that you support those around you who have lost their way, who are stressed, who are depressed, who are anxious, because that could be the difference between someone living their life or taking their life. Okay. Day 2 was beautiful. Day 2 was incredible visuals, euphoria, celebration, happy, fun, playful. Those little being things came back to play with me, but this time they were like the children version of them. I could feel the energy of the other people in the group. There was 14 of us total in this group. It was a real tight, powerful container, and I could feel and connect with them, not just in the physical, on that dimensional plane, but in others on, call it 5D, call it whatever. We were definitely connected on a different level, energetically and spiritually. And it was a beautiful experience. It definitely helped me do some cleansing. The shamans came around and worked on each one of us and did some, what do they call it, DNA coding, recoding. They come in and they do their work to get rid of some blockages, tweak some things that are going on in your energetic system, upgrades essentially. They're working on your codes and they're upgrading you. And it was a really beautiful, powerful experience that I feel afterwards really shifted my energy. And I left those 2 ceremonies really, 1, knowing that there is so much more going on that we're being told. 2, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And 3, it's time to do the work. It's time for me to rise up. It's time for me to speak my truth and really keep going deeper, keep looking in the shadows, keep overcoming my stuff, because the more I deal with, the stronger I stand in my true self and the greater of service I can be for all of you. It was a really beautiful experience. I'm truly grateful for the people that were in that ceremony with me. And I could say that those 2 ceremonies were definitely the most powerful. Now, they were also, very impactful, and I was able to see so much because I really, really had a powerful intention going into the ceremony. And I also feel that I was ready to receive. Like Mother Ayahuasca showed me everything that I needed to see because I asked for it and I was ready. And there's so much more to share. I mean, I could go on for 2 hours talking about all the different things I saw and felt, from my ceremonies. But I really felt that those experiences from those 6 ceremonies were important to share with you because each one was different. Each one was powerful and insightful in a different way. Even the one where I just slept through it, I also realized that there's a reason why I didn't get anything from that vision or any visions from that ceremony. And a lot of it also has to do with your preparation going into it. Are you following the dieta? Are you staying off social media? Have you cut out coffee leading up to it? Are you journaling? Are you setting a powerful intention? How are you showing up for the medicine? So, ayahuasca, it's powerful, and it can really change your life. It can really change your perspective. And if you're ready for it, it's a beautiful medicine that can open up so much for you. Okay, I've talked a lot about ayahuasca, and this vlog has run longer than I expected. However, just a lot to share from each experience. Now, if you're interested in trying ayahuasca, if it's something that sounds like you are open to experiencing, as I mentioned in the first plant medicine video that I put out, you can travel to retreat centers that are serving medicine. There's a couple in Costa Rica. There's Rhythmia and Soltara, and I've even heard that there are shamans in urban cities like Toronto, New York, LA, who are serving medicine as well. If you do choose to do the ayahuasca, as I said, have a powerful intention, but don't be set on expectations. Do the work going into it. Speak to the shaman, ask them, how can you prepare for ceremony? And really, really follow it strictly, because like most things in life, like everything in life, the more you put in, the more you get out. I will continue to, I don't know when I will do ayahuasca again. It's something you really need to feel called to do. And if it is something you're interested in doing because you want clarity, because you want to dive deeper, because there's maybe some things from the past that are buried deep down there that you want to get to and let out, a good place to start if you're not ready for ayahuasca is psilocybin, magic mushrooms. I'm going to share my magic mushrooms experience in the next video. For now, that is what I had to share about ayahuasca. I hope you found this interesting and valuable. If you enjoy my videos and you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe. If you are watching this on Instagram or Facebook, please hit like and share this video. If you know someone who's curious about ayahuasca and plant medicine, please share it with them. I put out this content to share my experiences, hoping that you get some value, some knowledge, and some benefit from it. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next video.